So you've heard about the Playroom, and you're wondering, what is the Playroom? Well, the Playroom is a free app that comes with the PS4, although it's not entirely free because it requires a PlayStation 4 camera to work. And it is essentially a tech demo with a little mini game built into it that shows off the augmented reality technology of the PlayStation 4 camera. And so I'm going to just show you a quick little walkthrough of what the app looks like. So as you can see here, it's detecting my controller and using that as a digital extension for this menu here. And so we're going to go back to the main menu, and it's going to bring up this new menu. And I can play with Asobe, who's that little flying robot you just saw. I can check the controller buttons, which is just really an overly fancy way of lighting up the controller as I'm using it. I can do a camera setup, make sure that everything's working fine with the game. And I can play with AR bots, which I'm going to go back to because this is sort of like the highlight of the app. And then there's AR hockey, which is essentially if you have two controllers, you're using the controller to play a game of air hockey that is digitally overlaid over the video of you and the other player. So let's go into AR bots right here. And AR bots are little robots, as it say, that populate the world that come from your PlayStation 4 DualShock 4. So right now he's putting a whole bunch of robots into my controller, and they're in there now, and getting them out of the controller is as simple as just swiping up on the touchpad. So there you go. There's one. There's another one. It sort of makes a fake floor at the bottom of the screen, and I could just spit them all out like that. Make it rain robots. And I could do whatever I want. I could just knock them around a little bit, play with them. If I spit out enough robots, I do believe something else pops out that sort of scares them. That's right, the giant rubber ducky pops out. They all run away. I think they're scared for it for like a moment, and then they'll come back and they'll sort of worship it. Yep, there they are. And now they love it, and then they'll play with the rubber ducky. And then what I could do after that, if I'm bored with that, is if I click down on the touchpad, it initiates a vacuum, and now Asobe's actually showing me that right now, and it will just pull them all back into the controller. Get all of them, you too. Come on, there we go. And now they're back in the controller. So if I swipe down, and as you can see, the game's very good about teaching you this stuff. Even though I've played multiple times, it continues to pull up these prompts. So even if you forget, it'll show you what to do. And now there they are in my controller, and when I move it around, they move around in there. And when I hit the buttons, it triggers all these lights. And if I trigger them enough, all of a sudden they're dancing. They're little dancing robots in my controller, and I can make them dance. And to be 100% honest with you, do you want to buy a PlayStation 4 camera for this functionality? Not really. The novelty of this lasts about as long as this video is going to last. If you have a young child, they might get more out of it than, somebody my age or older. But it's just a cool little tech demo that shows you what can be done in the future using this. And it also offers some secondary screen gameplay. So if you have a PlayStation Vita, you can actually use the second screen to create 3D objects to put into this world that the little robots will play with. And that can be as wholesome or as unwholesome as you desire, depending on what you're creating. So that's just a quick look at the Playroom. If you have a PlayStation camera, you'll probably spend 5 minutes in here playing around with it, and then you'll move on to doing something a little more complex.